Hi, I'm Rachel from the Black Lagoon, and I collect all things creature from the Black Lagoon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, or as I like to call it, the Creature Corner. This week in the Creature Corner, we're talking about the very first time the creature swam across the silver screen. And stick around until the end because we're also going to be talking about the potential reboot coming from Blumhouse, too. But first, in case you are new here, a little background about me. I've been collecting everything creature from the Black Lagoon for about 10 years now, and here in the Creature Corner, I talk about my collectibles, take you on creature-related adventures, and talk about the history of the movies, including sharing with you every week any creature-related histories that might have happened that week, and occasionally doing a deep dive into those histories, which is exactly what we will be doing here today. I post new videos here in the Creature Corner every Wednesday, so don't forget to hit subscribe if you are a fan of the Gillman or Universal Monsters. Now, 71 years ago on this very day, on February 12th, 1954, Creature from the Black Lagoon premiered in Detroit, Michigan, Denver, Colorado, and Lansing, Michigan. Why these three locations, I'm not entirely sure. Despite my best research efforts, I could not find any reason as to why they chose these three locations, and I couldn't even find the exact theater locations within those cities. My only guess is that these were just testing locations to see how the creature would do before releasing it across the country. When Creature from the Black Lagoon first premiered on that day, it originally projected in 3D by the polarized light method. The polarized light method uses polarization glasses that create the illusion of three-dimensional images by restricting the light that reaches each eye. Viewers would wear polarized 3D glasses that had gray polarizing filters that are very similar to the 3D glasses used today. 3D films were actually quite a popular fad in the 1950s, but unfortunately, by the time Creature from the Black Lagoon premiered in early 1954, that fad had already started to fade among moviegoers. And so, by the time Creature from the Black Lagoon was released across the US on March 5th, 1954, a month after that initial release, many audiences would see it flat in the standard 2D rather than in 3D. It was still shown in 3D in many theaters, but those theaters would mostly be large downtown theaters, and then it would only be shown in 2D in small neighborhood theaters. Now, how did this film make it to the silver screen in 1954? The story goes for how the production of Creature from the Black Lagoon came to be was all because Creature producer William Holland attended a dinner party hosted by Orson Welles in 1941 that was for the cast and crew of the movie Citizen Kane, in which William Holland plays reporter Jerry Thompson. It is said that during this dinner party, William Holland had a conversation with cinematographer Gabriel Figueroa, who had told him about the myth of a half-fish, half-human creature living in the Amazon River. This conversation, along with seeing the 1946 film Beauty and the Beast, inspired Olin to write notes for what he was then calling the sea monster. Then, in December of 1952, Olin had Maurice Zim expand upon these notes and turn them into a treatment. A treatment is a detailed written summary of a film concept. Harry Essex and Arthur A. Ross then took this treatment and wrote the screenplay titled The Black Lagoon. And then finally, in 1953, Jack Arnold was hired to film it in 3D. I will be doing separate deep dives on where the production of the film took place, as well as the creation of the Gillman. There's just so much more to get into on each of these topics. Creature from the Black Lagoon would go on to be re-released in theaters in 1975, again in 3D, but this time in the Anaglyph 3D format. Movie audiences would be given the red and blue 3D glasses to view the film in this format rather than the gray polarizing filter glasses like before. The Anaglyph 3D format, along with the red and blue glasses, would also be used for the 1980 home video release on Beta and VHS. After the success of Creature from the Black Lagoon, there were two sequels made. First was Revenge of the Creature in 1955 that was also filmed in 3D, and then in 1956, Creature Walks Among Us that was only filmed in 2D. William Holland was the producer for all three Creature films, and he wrote the story for Revenge of the Creature. Arthur A. Ross and Harry Essex did not return, though, for the sequel to write that screenplay. Instead, that screenplay was written by Martin Verkelly. Arthur A. Ross would return, though, as a writer for the third installment of The Creature in The Creature Walks Among Us. And Rico Browning, our underwater Gillman, is the only actor to have appeared in all three Creature films. Now, time to look to the future of the Creature in film. As of today, it does sound like we will be getting a Creature from the Black Lagoon reboot from Blumhouse sometime in the near future with James Wan directing. I've been asked about my thoughts on this possible remake a lot lately, and I have to say I am feeling cautiously optimistic about his remake. James Wan was quoted as saying that he will be leaning into visceral horror while still paying respect to the original. That does give me some hope that he will be true to the original, but I do worry given his theatrical track record that he might be a little CGI heavy for my taste in this Creature reboot. I don't hate CGI, but I am definitely a much bigger fan of practical effects and special effects makeup. I do have to say I have really enjoyed all of James Wan's work so far. I really enjoyed all of the Conjuring films he did. I also enjoyed *Malignant* and *Night Swim*, and I am looking forward to finally watching his reboot of *Salem's Lot*. I do hope, though, when it comes to the Creature, that they do rely more on practical effects and not so much on CGI, especially when it comes to the Gillman himself. Not only do I fear that special effects is an art form that we are slowly losing, but I also feel like a monster movie is just not the same without practical effects. There is something about the humanity and sympathetic nature of the Gillman that I fear could be lost in CGI. I very much appreciated that Guillermo del Toro did take the time and resources to have a Fishman suit made, as well as to have special effects makeup on Doug Jones for The Shape of Water. And he also seemed to limit the use of CGI in the film. I do understand the necessity of CGI to capture certain images, but I don't think a monster movie should rely on it too heavily. Another concern I do have in this reboot is that they might make the Creature more gory to please a more modern audience. I don't mind some gore in horror movies, but I definitely don't think excessive gore is necessary to make a horror movie scary. Now listen, even with all of that being said, and even if nothing goes my way and we get an overly gory CGI Gillman, I will still be there opening night, if for no other reason than to see the Gillman on the big screen once again. I do hope, though, that Blumhouse and James Wan will do their best to pay tribute to the original, and I do really hope to see this reboot come to fruition after seeing so many other reboots get abandoned time and time again. One Creature reboot that never was that I wish had come to fruition was the 90s reboot by John Carpenter. It featured special effects makeup artist Rick Baker at the helms of bringing the Creature back to life. Everything I've seen about it looks absolutely incredible, and I so wish that we would have been able to see it be brought to life on the big screen. I think this reboot that never was deserves an entire video all to itself, so I will be doing a deep dive video on this John Carpenter remake that never was, and during that video, per the request of a subscriber, I will also be going over the entire script of that reboot. I also wanted to quickly mention another reboot that never was by Breck Eisner that looked like it had the potential to be absolutely incredible. On that project, they had Gary Ross signed on to be a writer, and Gary Ross was the son of the original Creature from the Black Lagoon writer, Arthur A. Ross. They also had Mark McCreary, who worked on Jurassic Park, signed on to design the new Gillman for this reboot. And they had planned to film on location on the Amazon River in Peru. Let me know if you think this reboot that never was deserves its own deep dive as well. Like I said before, though, I will be keeping my fingers crossed that Blumhouse and James Wan will do the Gillman justice and will do their best to stay true to the original Creature from the Black Lagoon while still bringing the Gillman to life in the modern day. Now tell me in the comments, have you seen the original Creature from the Black Lagoon or the sequels? And are you looking forward to the potential new Creature from the Black Lagoon remake by James Wan? Don't forget, I'll see you back here in the Creature Corner next Wednesday, and keep your eyes out for a super special Monster Mail Monday, as well as a Creature Adventure video coming very soon. I hope you enjoyed this week's Creature Corner. I'll see you soon. Bye!